Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India NewsHour, India's voice to the world with me, Deepika, coming up in the next 1 hour. Iran holds state funeral for top brass slain in war with Israel at a time when US President slams Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei and drops plan to lift sanctions. Peace deal between Congo and Rwanda signed in Washington, D.C., raising hopes to end years of conflict whose roots date back to Rwanda's 1994 genocide. India's transformative journey in building inclusive social security net reaches new milestone as India witnesses surge in its social protection coverage. An Indian women's cricket team begin crucial England tour with a 5-match T20I series. Good evening to all the viewers joining us at this evening broadcast. To begin with the United States. US President Donald Trump sharply criticized Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, saying that he would consider bombing Iran again if Tehran is enriching uranium to worrisome levels, and also dropped plans to lift the sanctions on Iran. Take a listen.
And I'm putting out a little statement. I'm going to respond to the Ayatollah's statement yesterday that we won the war. Oh, God, we won the war. And I said, look, you're a man of great faith, a man who's highly respected in his country. You have to tell the truth. You got beat to hell. And Israel was beat up too. They were both beat up.
Donald Trump reacted sternly to Khamenei's first remarks after a 12-day conflict with Israel that ended when the United States launched bombing raids last weekend against Iranian nuclear sites. Trump said at a White House news conference that he did not rule out attacking Iran again when asked about the possibility of new bombing of Iranian nuclear sites if deemed necessary at some point. US President Donald Trump also said that Iran wants to return to negotiations on its nuclear program, a week after its main uranium enrichment facility and other sites were hit with devastating US airstrikes.
So Iran wants to meet. As you know, their sites were obliterated. They're very evil nuclear sites. They were now has been proven. We had some fake news for a little while.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi condemned the disrespectful and unacceptable comments from Donald Trump after the US President claimed to have saved Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei from an ugly and ignominious death. The Foreign Minister's condemnation on Saturday came after Trump said on his Truth Social platform that he had saved the Iranian leader from assassination, accusing Khamenei of ingratitude. The Republican-led U.S. Senate rejected a Democratic-led bid on Friday to block President Donald Trump from using further military force against Iran, hours after the president said he would consider more bombing. The Senate vote was 53-47 against a war powers resolution that would have required congressional approval for more hostilities against Iran. Now, under the U.S. law, Senate war powers resolutions are privileged, meaning that the chamber had to promptly consider and vote on the measure which the senator introduced this month. U.S. President Donald Trump voiced optimism about a new ceasefire in Gaza as criticism grew over mounting civilian deaths at Israeli-backed food distribution centers in the territory.
Often asked, and I think it's close. I just spoke with some of the people involved. It's a terrible situation that's going Gaza. He's asking about, and we think within the next week we're going to get a ceasefire. And we're supplying, as you know, a lot of money and a lot of food to that area because we have to. I mean, you have to. We're in theory not involved in it, but we're involved because people are dying.
The United States brokered a ceasefire in the devastating conflict in the waning days of former President Joe Biden's administration with the support from Trump's incoming team. Israel broke the ceasefire in the month of March, launching new devastating attacks on Hamas that attacked Israel on the 7th of October back in the year 2023. Now, thousands of Iranians gathered in Tehran on Saturday for a funeral procession for military commanders and nuclear scientists who were killed in Israeli strikes during the conflict between Iran and Israel this month. The coffins of the deceased were transported on trucks and driven through crowded streets as mourners walked up and paid respects. Now, Israel dealt heavy blows to the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps command during its military campaign that began on the 13th of June. A suicide attack claimed by the Pakistani Taliban killed 16 soldiers and wounded more than 2 dozen people, including civilians, local government officials and police officers. According to a local government official in North Waziristan, a suicide bomber rammed an explosive-laden vehicle into a military convoy. The explosion also caused the roofs of 2 houses to collapse, injuring 6 children. The attack was later claimed by the suicide bomber wing of the Hafiz Gul Bahadur armed group, a faction of the Pakistani Taliban. Now, US President Donald Trump said on Friday that he expects to get the conflict solved with North Korea. Speaking from the Oval Office, he described his relationship with Kim Jong-un as really great and expressed confidence that any potential conflict would be resolved without involving the United States.
Well, if there is a conflict, I get along with him very, very well, and we'll get the conflict solved with North Korea. I've had a good relationship with Kim Jong-un, and I've gotten along with him really great, so we'll see what happens. But somebody saying there's a potential conflict, I think we'll work it out if there is. It wouldn't involve us, but again, we're very far away from a lot of these places that we're solving problems with.
South Korea's former President Yoon Suk-yeol appeared at the country's prosecutor's office for a summon by a special prosecutor over the ousted leader's failed bid to impose the martial law in December. Yoon, through his lawyers, has protested the special prosecutor's demand to appear for questioning under media attention as a violation of his rights and a tactic to publicly humiliate him. The martial law attempt in December shocked a country that had prided itself on becoming a thriving democracy, having overcome military dictatorship in the 1980s. Yoon was later ousted in the month of April by the Constitutional Court that upheld his impeachment by the Parliament. Yoon is already on a trial for leading the December 3 martial law declaration. He had been arrested in January after resisting the authorities armed with a court warrant trying to take him into the custody, but was released after 52 days on legal technicalities. Minnesotans gathered at the Minnesota state capitol to mourn Melissa Hartman, the top Democrat in the Minnesota House, and her husband Mark as they lay in state in St. Paul on Friday. The suspect, accused of assassinating a Minnesota lawmaker and shooting another, drove to the homes of at least 4 state politicians as part of a planned killing spree. Vance Poulter faces state and federal murder charges after his arrest following a massive 2-day manhunt that was the largest in state's history. He is accused of fatally shooting Hartman, the top Democrat in the Minnesota House, and her husband Mark in their home on Saturday. Poulter is also charged with shooting and wounding Democratic lawmaker, State Senator John Hoffman, and his wife in their home a few miles away. The killings unfolded against a backdrop of increasing political violence in the U.S. in an era of extreme social and political polarization. Now, the president of the University of Virginia, James Ryan, resigned on Friday under pressure from President Donald Trump's administration over the school's diversity, equity and inclusion policies. In a letter, Ryan said he had made the excruciating decision to step down after concluding they are resisting that Trump officials' demand would put the school students and faculty at risk. Now, Virginia's Democratic U.S. Senators Tim Kaine and Mark Warner called Trump administration's demand outrageous in a joint statement and said Ryan's departure would hurt the university and the state. The administration has launched a campaign against diversity, equity and inclusion and targeted colleges and universities that it has claimed are pushing anti-Semitic, anti-American, Marxist and radical left ideologies. A 10-member delegation from Montana, comprising 7 high school students and 3 chaperones from the Montana World Affairs Council, is currently in India for a transformative cultural and educational exchange. Our next report brings you more. Take a look.
Path to this experience began with the students' exceptional performance in Econ Quest 2025 at Montana State University and the Academic World Quest 2025, where the Consulate General of India in Seattle recognized their outstanding participation, leading to their selection for this delegation.
All of these students have really shown an interest already in India, and what we hope to do is just expand their minds, because there's nothing better for students, especially students right at that age when they're finishing their high school experience, getting ready to enter college.
India was strategically chosen as the conference's theme country, with the explicit aim of promoting its rich cultural heritage and also fostering strong academic and diplomatic ties between India and the United States.
I think India is one of the key players in a developing, global order, with one of the largest populations, or the largest population among all nations. It's really important to establish good relations with in between the United States and India if we're going to continue to exist peacefully in this world and mutual benefit.
For these students, this visit is strategically important for understanding the Indian landscape and its significance in regional strategic affairs.
I'll be heading to Yale this fall, and I'm hoping to study global affairs. So this trip was definitely up my alley. I think I love getting to experience different cultures, getting to talk to people who have grown up so different from how I have, and I think especially in today's age where there is so much globalization and people are exchanging cultures in a way like never before.
A crucial focus was also on deepening the understanding of India for future collaborations in education, trade, as well as diplomacy between Montana and India.
As there aren't so many super strong alliances or super strong things or directions that India has to take their economy and their political stances and allies with that, and I think that's a really incredible position to be in, just kind of to see how the world turns out and be able to make their own decisions, honestly.
This delegation's visit underscores a forward-thinking approach to international relations, recognizing that fostering deeper ties begins with shared experiences and mutual understanding among the next generation of leaders. Bureau Report, DD India.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on the other side. 3 people died in crash of a small tourist plane in north of France. We'll get you more details after the break. Dambe World Series kicks off in Nigeria's capital, Abuja.
When resources are tight, it's time to rethink how we consume, how easily we throw things away, but often, bold ideas in our day-to-day lives can really turn things around.
In the mission, the school-level children are given the concept of waste management and circular economy.
The big advantage is you don't have to go back to the start of the chain like mining iron ore. You can reuse materials that have already been processed. So the sustainability aspects alone are incredibly valuable.
We are not trying to aim for fully automated, 100% digitized assets. We are always proposing a hybrid sort of operation where you're blending in technology where it's useful.
We have been making handicrafts from banana plants for quite some time now. Currently, we produce around 30 products.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching the India NewsHour. Now, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed a US-brokered peace agreement. Rwanda has agreed to withdraw its troops from eastern Congo. Our next report gets you all the details. Take a look.
Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo signed a US-brokered peace agreement on Friday, raising hopes for an end to fighting that has killed thousands and displaced hundreds of thousands. The deal was signed by the foreign ministers of the two neighboring nations in Washington, D.C., in the presence of U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
With the continued support of the United States and other partners, we believe that a turning point has been reached. Rwanda stands ready to work with the DRC to deliver on our joint commitments.
These are not just words on paper. They must now be translated into action with justice, accountability, and political will. This peace agreement is the starting point, not the end goal.
US President Donald Trump hailed the agreement, which aims to attract billions of dollars of Western investment to Eastern Congo, which is rich in minerals like copper, lithium, and gold.
And this is a long time waiting. The signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda.
Global leaders also welcomed the deal, with French President Emmanuel Macron saying that it was a historic step forward after decades of suffering, while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called it a significant step towards de-escalation. As per the deal, the two sides have pledged to implement a 2024 agreement that would see Rwandan troops withdraw from Eastern Congo within 90 days. The two countries will also launch a regional economic integration framework within the same time frame. Rwanda has sent at least 7,000 soldiers to DR Congo. According to DR Congo and UN, the troops have been sent to support M23 rebels who seized Eastern Congo's two largest cities and lucrative mining areas in a lightning advance earlier this year. Rwanda has denied helping M23, saying its forces are acting in self-defense against Congo's army and Hutu militiamen linked to the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Rwanda and DR Congo are also holding separate talks in Doha. Bureau Report, DD India.
And to understand more on this, I am joined by Professor Dr. Sandipani Dash from the Department of African Studies, Delhi University. Good evening, Dr. Dash. Now, this is a much important development in the fact that this comes as a US brokered deal. The move is also hailed by the world leaders. Now, how important it becomes for world diplomacy, considering the current geopolitical tensions arising in different parts of the world, Dr. Dash?
Thank you, Deepika, having me here for this important discussions. And let me, congratulate all, concerned leaders of the world and two countries for having such a useful stage for signing peace agreements. But also, let me tell you, this peace agreement appears to be very transactional in nature, because the peace agreement that is getting signed on the theater, this theater is much more deeper and it is structurally embedded conflicts. As we all know, that it has goes traced back not in 1994 Rwanda genocide. Prior to that, also this region which was colonized by the Belgians, and these rubber plantations had led to complete dehumanization and brutalization of society. And then this, 1994 Rwandan conflict, then after, this Congo war, and now there is a competitive attempt for gain control of these mineral-rich regions. So in that respect, for the stakeholders of these global powers is to ensure smooth extractions of these minerals, and for that we need a peaceful theaters. That's fine, but in the same region when this Rwanda conflict 1994 was unfolded, just because there is no kind of sign of any lucrative commodities and kind of resources, that is why there is a strategic silence on the international community. So it is a transactional, it's a resource-driven and interest-driven interventions or non-interventions. So in that way, if it is like United States or is a Qatar-led kind of peace agreement, so this peace will hold as long as this peace kind of serves the interest of the external powers. And the moment this kind of peace doesn't serve, then these external powers will pull out for the peace effort. So the point I'm trying to make is this peace has to be more substantive. And the way of substantive is to make it more comprehensive and also bringing into double all the possible stakeholders, across the regions. Then this peace appears to be sustainable. Thank you.
Talking about this agreement, Dr. Dash, it says that Kinshasa and Kigali will launch a regional economic integration framework within 90 days. Tell us more about that, its importance, and what could be its repercussion as well.
Well, this regional economic framework is an important thing, but this regional economic framework has to be aligned with the existing, regional activity for cessation of conflict and also resolutions and for the post-conflict reconstruction. In that respect, in African country at the regional and sub-regional level, there are a lot of experiments that are going on. So I think instead of having a transactional, regional frame from a externally driven, rather has to be aligned with the already existing and evolving, regional integration mechanism. That will make much more sense.
Also, Dr. Dash, very importantly, what is the benefit that the United States is getting by brokering this peace deal?
Yeah, that's obvious that because now it is this region of Goma and the eastern part of the present DRC is now explored with rich mineral, gold, and other rare earth materials, and it's very important for for the global business, and also there is not only United States but other global powers. They want to have a foothold or already have a foothold. So in that respect, to have an edge over other competitive powers, if you take up ownership or tag that okay, the peace makers, then ultimately not only the credit of the peace but of the post-peace benefits will occur to the agency which or the country or the power which orchestrates this peace.
And also when we talk about it, will this also pave way for the country's prosperity, as it is already sticking to the lower rungs on the 2025 Freedom and Prosperity Index as well?
That's a very vital questions. And the argument for peace is prosperity, but since it's a transactional base, so it's a prosperity is not the substantive driver here. Substantive driver is smooth flow of rare materials from this part of the world to the United States and other extra-regional economic global houses. So in that way, how it will go into the prosperity of this region, that depends on, as we said, this regional economic integration framework and how best you can, integrate all stakeholders and people of the regions in this extraction and the value addition process. And it's not that obvious because the past examples, though then there is certainly there is been list happening of this peace-driven prosperity going down to the local people. Rather, it is the interest of this global capital.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Dash, for joining us and bringing us a rounded perspective on this very important development. Moving on, now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world in brief. 3 people died in the crash of a small tourist plane in north of France. The crash occurred in a street in the middle of a residential area, approximately 1 kilometer northwest of Airfield's runway. The Dambe World Series, organized by the African Warriors Fighting Championship, kicked off in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Saturday. Marking the latest evolution of Dambe, a centuries-old form of boxing was originated among the Hausa people of northern Nigeria and has deep ties of cultural and ceremonial celebrations. Thousands gathered at Glastonbury's iconic pyramid stage to watch this year's edition of the festival's first headliner, the 1975. At the music festival, massive crowd welcomed Lewis Capaldi with huge cheers as the Scottish singer staged a surprise comeback. Moving on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on visits to Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Argentina, Brazil and Namibia from the 2nd till the 9th of July. Now, this visit is considered an important step towards strengthening India's relationship with Africa and Latin America. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will undertake a visit to Ghana from the 2nd till the 3rd of July. This will be Prime Minister's first ever bilateral visit to Ghana. Prime Ministerial visit from India to Ghana is also taking place after 3 decades. In the second leg of his visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay an official visit to Trinidad and Tobago from the 3rd till the 4th of July. Now, this will be his first visit to the country as the Prime Minister and first bilateral visit at the Prime Ministerial level since 1999. In the third leg of his visit, Prime Minister will travel to Argentina on an official visit from the 4th till the 5th of July. In the fourth leg of his visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to Brazil from the 5th till the 8th of July to attend the 17th edition of BRICS Summit, followed by a state visit. This will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 4th visit to Brazil. And in the final leg of his visit, Prime Minister Modi will visit Namibia on the 9th of July. This will be the first visit of Prime Minister to Namibia and the third ever Prime Ministerial visit from India to Namibia. Well, Brazil is set to host the BRICS Summit on the 6th and the 7th of July in Rio de Janeiro. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the summit and will also hold bilateral summits with Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva as the state guest. In this context, Lead India correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke exclusively to Kenneth Nobrega, the ambassador of Brazil to India, on the evolving role of BRICS in today's global scenario and the growing trajectory of India-Brazil relationship. Take a listen.
I have Ambassador of Brazil to India, Kenneth Nobrega, with me. Excellency, BRICS Summit is going to be held in your country. What do you think? What are the priorities of BRICS as you are the host?
We have 6 priorities. The first is reform of global governance, which is a founding platform of BRICS, as you know. The second is climate change financing. The third is global regulation of artificial intelligence. The fourth is global health, achieving a growing partnership in terms of global health. The fifth is economic and financial integration among BRICS countries. And the last one is what we call BRICS institutional reform.
Russia is in a war with Ukraine for the last 3 years. The newest member, Iran, has been in war with Israel recently, and there is ceasefire. So Americans are trying, but don't you think that BRICS, being a mammoth organization of 10 countries, can try and mediate a situation of stopping the war?
We are looking for ways of bringing the parts together through dialogue, not through threats. That's the main point. We think that it's better to have an incremental progress than a hasty progress, right, basically. Right.
Recently, there was an attack on India by terrorists in Pahalgam. Do you think that BRICS should take a united stand against terrorism?
Yes, I think it should clearly condemn and point out that states should maintain good practices, so to speak, when it comes to looking after the terrorist threat in its territories.
Donald Trump became the president of United States. It is like a trade war, perpetrated by United States to all the countries. So do you think that in this BRICS summit, the member countries are going to take some stand so that this doesn't become a trade war?
This kind of stability is what business needs to thrive and countries need to develop. So I think BRICS will make, a clear statement for multilateralism, abiding by the rules, rejecting unilateralism.
How do you project the relationship between India and Brazil in coming years?
Well, let me say that after BRICS Summit, Honorable Prime Minister Modi will make a state visit, a full-fledged state visit to Brazil. I think this will a visit where we will see how much the partnership has evolved in the last years.
Do you think that we are going to sign some agreements, some MOUs in this visit?
We are envisaging results in this field in energy, fight against terrorism, intellectual property, health, cooperation in the field of agriculture, among other.
Brazil, the world's largest producer of sugar, hosted a high-level Indian delegation. The delegation from National Federation of Cooperative Sugar Factories Limited visited Brazil to study the country's sugar industry practices, including ethanol production and sugar dry cleaning processes. During their 5-day tour, the Indian delegation met the top sugar industry executives, visited the factories and witnessed sugar dry cleaning processes and interacted with the researchers at ethanol production centers. They aim to implement these practices in India's sugar industry as well.
In our delegation, we have people from Vasantdada Sugar Institutes, people from private industries also, plus cooperative industries. So this is a very big delegation, and the Embassy of Brazil and India, both have them tied this program very well. So regarding the future challenges and the future prospects about the sugar industry, I think so this was the purpose of our visit.
Every year, these Brazil people or the CTC, they are coming up with at least 2 to 3 different varieties of sugarcane. And so that is really the great work which they are doing in the CTC. We can also learn from these experiments which they are having.
We see the farmers are very rich. I mean, we came across some farmers who have their own aircrafts. They leave their home, come to the office in their own aircraft and go back. And this is something which Indian farmer can look forward to. But for the Indian sugar industry is in the total sugar government control industry. And here it is market driven. So decision process becomes faster. And perhaps a day is not far off when India also need to take this route of liberalizing the sugar sector from the clutches of the government controls, and let the industry run on its own and grow. That's some takeaway that we are taking from it.
Time to take a short break, but still to come on the other side. Prime Minister Narendra Modi remarks India's spirit of service as unconditional, beyond self-interest and inspired by selflessness during an event in New Delhi. Indo-French joint military exercise Shakti Part 8 continues to strengthen operational interoperability in southern France.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India NewsHour. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the centenary celebrations of Acharya Vidyanandji Maharaj in New Delhi on Saturday. The program marked the commencement of a year-long national tribute being organized by the Government of India in collaboration with Bhagwan Mahavir Ahimsa Bharati Trust to honor the 100th birth anniversary of Acharya Vidyanandji Maharaj. The Maharaj was a revered Jain spiritual leader and social reformer. The year-long celebration will include cultural, literary, educational and spiritual initiatives across the country aimed at celebrating his life and legacy and spreading his message. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also released postage commemorative stamps and coins on the occasion of the 100th birth anniversary of Acharya Vidyanandji Maharaj during his centenary celebrations. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister said India's spirit of service is unconditional, beyond self-interest and inspired by selflessness, emphasizing that this principle guides the nation's governance today.
भारत सेवा प्रधान देश है, भारत मानवता प्रधान देश है। दुनिया में जब हजारों वर्षों तक हिंसा को हिंसा से शांत करने के प्रयास हो रहे थे, तब भारत ने दुनिया को अहिंसा की शक्ति का बोध कराया। हमारा सेवा भाव अनकंडीशनल है, स्वार्थ से परे है और परमार्थ से प्रेरित है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid tribute to former Prime Minister Shri P.V. Narasimha Rao on the occasion of his birth anniversary, recalling his pivotal role in shaping India's development path during a crucial phase of the nation's economic and political transformation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in a social media post, and I quote him, remembering P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu on his birth anniversary. India is grateful to him for his effective leadership during a crucial phase of our development trajectory. His intellect, wisdom and scholarly nature are also widely admired. Unquote. Moving on. India's Finance Ministry releases monthly economic review for May 2025. The key highlights are as follows. India's economic momentum continues to strengthen with real GDP growth of 6.5% in financial year 2025, reflecting the country's resilience in navigating complex global challenges. E-way bill generation, fuel consumption and PM indices collectively reflect a healthy level of economic activity. Retail inflation has continued to decline for the 7th consecutive month, easing to 2.8% in May 2025, marking the lowest inflation rate since February 2019. Now, India's foreign exchange reserves remain strong, providing an import cover of nearly 11.5 months. India's total exports grew by 2.8% year-on-year in May 2025. And amidst the global uncertainties, the outlook for India is one of cautious optimism. India's social protection initiatives are being praised world across. Union Minister Mansukh Mandavia shared a video on social media site X in which the Director General of the International Labour Organization appreciated India's transformative journey in building a robust and inclusive social security net.
In India, for example, a regional forum on responsible business practices for inclusive and sustainable society brought forward very concretely and now 10 well-documented case studies on how we expand social justice through the business, the responsible business practices, in addition for moving the social protection coverage for barely 25% to 64%.
India's Mazagaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited is going to acquire a 51% controlling stake in Sri Lanka's Colombo dockyard for $52.96 million, buying the shares from Japan's Onomichi dockyard, which is exiting the company. MDL will also invest fresh funds to help strengthen Colombo dockyard's finances, which have suffered losses in recent years. Now, this acquisition marks MDL's expansion from a domestic shipbuilder to a regional maritime maritime player, supporting India's maritime Amrit Kal vision of 2047 and boosting its regional influence. Well, India has also made significant progress in expanding vaccine coverage with a dramatic drop in the percentage of zero-dose children to the population from 0.11% in 2023 to 0.06% in 2024. As per the UN Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation in its 2024 report, India's maternal mortality ratio stands at 80 per lakh live births. This reflects an 86% decline relative to the global reduction of 48% since 1990. India's universal immunization program currently covers 12 vaccine-preventable diseases and has seen significant expansion. Some of its key initiatives include Zero Dose Implementation Plan 2024, which has been rolled out across 143 districts in 11 states. Mission Indradhanush, also intensified in 2017 in collaboration with state governments, has vaccinated 5 crore 46 lakh children and 1 crore 32 lakh pregnant women. Through national immunization days and sub-national immunization days, India has maintained polio-free status since 2014. India's consistent prioritization of the universal immunization program reflects in its disease elimination milestones and focus on last-mile vaccine delivery. Moving on, the Indo-French joint military exercise Shakti Part 8 continues to strengthen operational interoperability and mutual cooperation between the Indian and French armies. Held at Camp Larzac in southern France, the exercise features the participation of 90 personnel, primarily from the Indian Army's Jammu and Kashmir Rifles Battalion, alongside French Army's 13th Demi Brigade of the Foreign Legion. The joint training encompasses a wide spectrum of mission-specific drills tailored to sub-conventional warfare. These include combat shooting in semi-developed terrain, obstacle crossings, urban combat drills, joint patrols, and troop insertion techniques. India's Minister for Railways, Ashwini Vaishnaw, flagged off the Purulia-Bankura-Hafra Memo train on Saturday. Running via Masagram, this new Memo service is set to greatly benefit the people of West Bengal by enhancing regional connectivity and easing their travel.
जब से प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने देश की जिम्मेदारी ली है, रेलवे उनका हमेशा से एक फोकस रहा है। कैसे रेलवे में परिवर्तन आए, कैसे रेलवे का विस्तार हो, नए स्टेशन बने, नई पटरियां बने, नई टेक्नोलॉजी की ट्रेन आए, वो सब मोदी जी का बहुत बड़ा सपना है। और उस सपने को पूरा करने में 12 लाख रेलवे परिवार के सभी सदस्य एक साथ जुटे हुए पूरी मेहनत से काम कर रहे हैं और आज उसका रिजल्ट कई जगह दिखाई देता है। वंदे भारत ट्रेन, नमो भारत ट्रेन, अमृत भारत ट्रेन, हर तरह से एक नया देश में रेलवे का एक नया रूप मिले हमारे सभी यात्रियों को, देशवासियों को।
Time to take a short break, but still to come on the other side. Minister Kiran Rijiju, along with MP Kangana Ranawat, lays foundation stone of various developmental projects, including an ice hockey rink in Himachal Pradesh. Midfielder Aitana Punmati hospitalized less than a week before Women's Euro 2025.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India NewsHour. Well, on the second day of the Grand Jagannath Rath Yatra in Odisha's Puri, the chariots of Lord Jagannath and his siblings are being pulled towards the Gundicha temple, where the deities will rest for 9 days before returning to the Jagannath temple. Devotees from across India and around the world are arriving in Puri to take part in the yatra and seek blessings. In 1975, Indira Gandhi declared emergency, plunging the country into a turmoil. And it was not just about politics. The entertainment industry felt the brunt of the long repressive arm of the state, and those who did not toe the line suffered hugely.
This was the voice that every Indian was mesmerized by. A voice that resonated in the hearts of millions. But even this magical voice of Kishore Kumar was silenced during the emergency. For 6 months, the government banned Kishore Kumar's songs from All India Radio. And the reason? Kishore had refused to perform at a government-sponsored event organized at the behest of Sanjay Gandhi, son of then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi.
ये हुआ कि संजय गांधी ने अपने नेतृत्व में दिल्ली के अंदर एक गीतों भरी शाम का आयोजन किया। बॉम्बे से बहुत सारे सितारों को बुलाया गया, लेकिन कुछ सितारों ने वहां आने से मना कर दिया। उनमें एक थे गायक किशोर कुमार। ये बात संजय गांधी तक पहुंची, बाद में ये बात प्रधानमंत्री इंदिरा गांधी तक पहुंची, तो उन्होंने सीधे आदेश दे दिए कि किशोर कुमार का कोई भी गाना ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पे भी प्रसारित नहीं होगा और दूरदर्शन पे भी प्रसारित नहीं होगा। जो चित्रहार के अंदर गाने आते थे उसमें जिसमें भी किशोर कुमार का स्वर होगा वो गाना बिल्कुल प्रसारित नहीं होगा। यानी किशोर कुमार पूरी तरह रेडियो और दूरदर्शन से बैन कर दिए गए।
Even before the emergency was officially declared, Indira Gandhi had started tightening control over Bollywood. Just 4 months before emergency, in February 1975, a film named Andhi was released, directed by Gulzar. Some close aides told the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi that the movie resembled her life. Once emergency was imposed, Andhi was taken off theatres and banned from screening.
फरवरी 1975 में ये फिल्म लगी थी और अच्छे से चल रही थी। 20 महीने जब फिल्म को चलते चलते हो गए तो अचानक ये कहा गया इस फिल्म को प्रतिबंध कर दिया जाए, क्योंकि इसकी जो नायिका है सुचित्रा सेन वो इंदिरा गांधी का लुक है उसमें, और इस फिल्म की कहानी भी इंदिरा गांधी की जो व्यक्तिगत जीवन की कहानी है उससे मिलती है। क्योंकि सुचित्रा सेन बिल्कुल चलने का अंदाज, बोलने का अंदाज, बैठने का अंदाज, और यहाँ तक कि जो उनके बाल थे, जिस तरह इंदिरा गांधी के उस समय यहाँ बालों में थोड़ी सफ़ेदी थी, तो सुचित्रा सेन के बालों में भी यहाँ थोड़ी सफ़ेदी दिखाई गई। और जब गुजरात के चुनाव में ये कहा गया कि आप मिलिए इंदिरा गांधी से, तो उसका एक बड़ा इम्पैक्ट ख़राब हुआ और कांग्रेस सरकार चौंकी और इन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, इस फिल्म को तुरंत बैन कर दीजिए। ये कहानी उनसे मिलती है।
One film released during the emergency shook the establishment so deeply that authorities allegedly went to the extent of destroying its prints by setting them on fire. The film was Kissa Kursi Ka, a bold political satire. It mocked the slogans like Garibi Hatao and critiqued the forced sterilization drives of the time.
अमृतलाल नाटा की पिक्चर किस्सा कुर्सी का, ये फिल्म सेंसर के पास गई तो उसमें वो देखा कि इसके अंदर जो कुछ व्यंग थे, राजनीतिक व्यंग थे, कुछ कटाक्ष थे, और उसमें कुछ जो संजय गांधी की योजनाएं थी, जो पंचसूत्रीय कार्यक्रम था, उनका भी परिवार नियोजन का खास तौर से कुछ मजाक सा उड़ाया गया था। लेकिन वो एक हल्का सा वो था, कोई ये नहीं कि आप उस पर जिस तरह फिल्मकार बनाते हैं, जिस तरह कॉमेडी फिल्म बनती है उस तरह का होता है, तो उस तरह उसके अंदर कुछ दिखाया गया था। तो ये जब सेंसर बोर्ड के पास गई तो सेंसर बोर्ड ने इस फिल्म को रोक दिया कि इस फिल्म को बिल्कुल पास नहीं करेंगे। और सिर्फ रोका ही नहीं, उस समय जो विद्याचरण शुक्ल थे उन्होंने इस फिल्म के प्रिंट तक जला दिए कि आगे ये फिल्म कभी दिखाई ना जाए।
Even the all-time blockbuster Sholay couldn't escape the shadow of emergency. Few know this, but Indira Gandhi's government forced a major change in the film's climax. You may remember the climax of the film where dacoit Gabbar Singh and Thakur Baldev Singh had a final showdown and Thakur injures Gabbar before handing him over to the police. But that was not the original ending of Sholay. In the original ending, Thakur Baldev Singh kills Gabbar Singh with his spiked boots. But when Sholay reached the censor board, director Ramesh Sippy was pressured to change it. The government didn't want to send a message that common citizen could take the law into their own hands, especially in a time when public sentiment was turning against the regime. Ramesh Sippy had no choice but to reshoot the climax in Karnataka. It took 26 days to complete the new version. Bureau Report, DD India.
Moving on now, let's get you all the latest action from the world of sports. To begin with cricket first. Indian women's cricket team is all set to face England in the first T20I of the 5-match series on Saturday. India will be keen to internalize the conditions and character of the venue in England ahead of the next year's Cricket World Cup. Well, the ICC showpiece is almost a year away, but the series is a perfect stepping stone after India's disappointing group stage exit in the last edition. And apart from the return of explosive opener Shafali Verma, India has added some new names such as Kranti Gaur, Sri Charani and Sayali Sadgade to its squad. Minister of Parliamentary Affairs Kiren Rijiju, along with Member of the Parliament Kangana Ranawat, laid the foundation stone of various developmental projects including an ice hockey rink, a cricket ground, a pavilion and a high-altitude sports training centre in Himachal Pradesh on Saturday. This marked a major step towards youth empowerment and skill building in remote regions. Australia secured a massive 159-run victory over the West Indies in the first test match on Saturday. Australia's superb batting had put them in a strong position from the beginning. Beau Webster and Travis Head forged the match's first century partnership. Alex Carey also scored a well-compiled half-century. West Indies was dismissed for 141, chasing a formidable target of 301. Nathan Lyon swept the tail while Josh Hazlewood's 5-wicket masterclass broke the host's resistance on a pitch that turned into a bowler's paradise. With this victory, Australia has taken a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. In soccer, Kylian Mbappe continued his road to recovery as Real Madrid carried on training preparations for their FIFA Club World Cup round of 16. Real Madrid is set to face Juventus on Wednesday in the round of 16 in Miami Gardens. The French forward has not featured in the Club World Cup tournament yet due to acute gastroenteritis. Mbappe missed Real Madrid's game against Al Hilal, Pachuca and RB Salzburg. Real Madrid ended the league stage of the tournament topping Group H. Well, on the winner, Aitana Ponmati has been hospitalized with viral meningitis less than a week before Spain began their Women's Euro campaign. Ponmati missed Friday's crucial game against Japan as Spain continue building up to their first Group B match against Portugal. Ponmati shared a picture of herself watching the match from a hospital bed in an Instagram story. Ponmati played a key role as they won the Women's World Cup in 2023 and Women's Nations League last year. Barcelona's Ponmati won the FIFA Women's Player of the Year for 2023 and 24 and has scored 30 goals for Spain. And that's all we have for you in this edition of News Hour, but we'll leave you with this story from Venice, where Lauren Sanchez shared a photo of her wedding to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. The couple welcomed hundreds of VIP guests for a multi-day celebration reportedly costing over 40 million euros. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from the country and the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India News Hour.